While the US celebrates Mother's Day on the second Sunday in May, the Irish celebration is rooted in a 16th century medieval religious tradition where domestic workers were given the day off to visit their home or mother church. Rising 200 feet above the plains of County Tipperary, a steep, craggy hill known as the Rock of Cashel served as both the site from which the kings of Munster ruled and as a religious landmark, commemorating the spot upon which St. Patrick baptized King Angus in CE 450. In 977, the legendary Brian Boru was crowned King of Munster atop the rock, and it remained the seat of Munster's royalty until 1101, when it was given over to the church. Atop the summit stands a complex of buildings, including the 13th century ruins of Cashel Cathedral, Cormac's Chapel built in the 12th century, and a copy of St. Patrick's Cross. In 1647, during the Irish Confederate Wars, Cashel was sacked by English parliamentarian troops. The Irish Confederate troops there were massacred, as were the Catholic clergy. The English troops looted or destroyed many important religious artifacts that were housed in the structure. The rock is widely celebrated as the jewel of Irish church buildings and represents one of the most impressive collections of Celtic art and medieval architecture in Europe. Caher Castle, one of Ireland's largest, best preserved and most authentic castles. The castle stands on a rocky island in the river's shore, dating back to the 13th century. The castle was built to be a state-of-the-art defensive fortress, featuring battlements, heavy gates, turrets, towers, and stunning courtyards. Caher Castle has served as a filming location for several prominent movies and television shows, including Excalibur, The Green Knight, and Ridley Scott's The Last Duel. Cobh was one of the major transatlantic Irish ports. The town was the departure point for 2.5 million of the 6 million Irish people who emigrated to North America between 1848 and 1950. On the 11th of April 1912, as Queenstown, it was the final port of call for the Titanic before she set out across the Atlantic on the last leg of her maiden voyage. Some sources and local law suggest that a Titanic crew member, John Coffey, a native of Cobh, left the ship at this time, thereby saving his life. 123 passengers boarded at Cobh, with only 44 surviving the sinking of the Titanic. Another ship to be associated with the town was the Lusitania, which was sunk by a German U-boat off the shore of Kinsale, while en route from the US to Liverpool on the 7th of May, 1915. 1,198 passengers died, while 700 were rescued. The survivors and the dead alike were brought to Queenstown, and the bodies of over 100 who perished in the disaster lie buried in the Old Church Cemetery, just north of the town. The Lusitania Peace Memorial is located in Casement Square in town. Construction began on St. Colman's in 1868 and was not completed until over half a century later due to increases in costs and revisions of the original plans. With the steeple being 300 feet, the cathedral is the tallest church in Ireland. It is frequently cited as one of Ireland's most beautiful church buildings. The tower contains Ireland's only carillon, which with 49 bells is the most of any in the British Isles. It contains Ireland's largest bell, named St. Colman, which weighs 3.6 tons. Lapland Farms in Cork has a new innovation, milk vending machines. You buy a bottle or bring an old one to refill. Pick your flavor and fill up fresh from the farm.